When I say 4-H, what do you think of? Farm animals? Maybe the 4-H building at the state fair. You probably know that 4-H has been around a long time, over 100 years in fact. Maybe you know that the 4-H's of 4-H stand for head, heart, hands, and health. There's even a good chance you were involved in 4-H yourself. But what is 4-H all about, really?
Minnesota 4-H, growing true leaders, is made possible by Minnesota Farmers Union, standing for agriculture, fighting for farmers. On the web at mfu.org. Minnesota Corn Growers Association, since 1978, dedicated to identifying and promoting opportunities for Minnesota corn farmers while enhancing quality of life. For nearly 100 years, Minnesota Farm Bureau has been working to preserve, promote, and strengthen American agriculture and share in the vision of strength and vitality for our communities.
Hi there, thanks for joining us. I'm Libby Montrell, and I'll be your guide as we learn all about 4-H and how it empowers young people with the skills they need to lead for a lifetime. All right, let's go. Many people are familiar with 4-H's long connection with rural life and agriculture, but 4-H today is all about helping kids everywhere find their passion, whatever that might be, and helping them develop skills that they can use in all aspects of their life. One path to discovering 4-H is through the arts. 4-H State Arts In is a musical production put on by 4-Hers multiple times each day of the Minnesota State Fair. In total, they perform at least 40 shows to over 12,000 audience members. Betsy and Adam are participants in Arts In, and I asked them to share what their experience has been like.
I'm Betsy, and I've been performing for 4 years. I could have done 5 years, but I didn't know about the first year. It's a great program. I really enjoy it.
So as a performer, tell me about what you do. There's got to be a lot of work involved.
We are here for a week before the fair. We have to learn all the dances and all the lyrics, which takes a while. And then we have to put the acting in it and put it all together and keep that energy the whole time, and it takes a lot of work.
For you now, working on the technical side, tell me about what you do.
So we come in during prep week and we actually completely build the stage. It's a blank stage when we start here, and then we get little cut orders is what they call them, and then we have to make platforms and build the stage. And
so for you, what has 4-H and being involved in the Arts In program taught you? What do you feel it's given you?
It's helped me with my leadership skills. Before I was in the tech crew, I was the drummer for this program for my first 3 years. And so it's helped me to be more confident in myself, because when I first started, I didn't think I could do it. And my mom's sitting there going, "You can do it, you're fine." And so it's helped me become more confident and a better leader and to know how to lead better.
If you could tell any child who's considering getting involved in 4-H, who's maybe a little shy, what would your message be?
We're pretty much a really accepting group, and it's a lot of fun to do it. You get to turn in a lot of projects. You learn a lot of different things from the different projects that you turn in, and you make a lot of friends.
How about you?
There's no other place like Arts In. The environment is so amazing. You really find out who you are as a person, and it's helped me to keep being me and not changing for other people.
As Betsy said, 4-H helps you to be true to yourself. By creating a supportive and positive environment, 4-H can help youth gain the confidence to develop new skills and hobbies. 4-H is literally full of hundreds of different project areas, and finding your passion or even just an interest and taking it from there is sort of what it's all about. So we have Rachel with us today. Hello, Rachel.
Hi.
And if you could tell us a little bit about your project. What did you do this year? What did you make for the fair?
I made a entryway bench.
Okay, an entryway bench. So you got into woodworking. Is this your first piece?
I've made other little smaller things. This is my first big piece.
Okay, well, and how did you do? I hear you got judged today.
I got a blue ribbon.
Well, congratulations. I hope you continue. Are you going to make more pieces for next year?
Yeah.
Rachel will keep developing these woodworking skills, and who knows, maybe it'll turn into a lifelong passion or even a career. Many 4-H alumni apply the skills they learn while in the program to their adult lives, and often many find ways to give back. Jaleel is an aspiring musician and a program coordinator for 4-H in charge of organizing the science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM, activities at the State Fair.
I started in 4-H in 2005, and it was a club called Team Power. So with Team Power, what we did, we made music. And we used to just take beats, rap to them, and sing. But when we came to the fair, and we seen the technology and like what they were doing and what we can do with it, we started to think, okay, how can we create music, you know, using science? So we started making our own synth sounds. We started using the keyboard a little bit more, making our own type of like synth programs and stuff like that. And if it wasn't for 4-H, I probably wouldn't have touched music as much, which wouldn't have led me to the State Fair and led me to these other STEM activities. I'm very blessed that I was able to be in 4-H, to be led to this, because now I can lead other kids from the city into it.
So as a 4-H alum, you were talking about bringing those kids in. What do you tell them? How do you get them involved?
So the main, you got to find their interests.
Cool.
And it's just how you talk to them. Each of them is a little bit different. You know, you kind of got to sweet talk them, you know. But by showing them, by sweet talking them and them knowing you, 9 times out of 10, they're willing to go and give it a try. And that's the main thing about 4-H that I love, is the fact that it's youth-led. The kids get to create what they want to create. They can imagine it, and it's up to the adults to see if it's possible, and if it's not, make it possible.
Jaleel has several 4-H youth helping him run the STEM activity areas in the 4-H building. One of them, Chris, is a first-year 4-H'er. I asked him to share how he got involved.
I was introduced to 4-H by my brother Frank, and he told me about a group called Ramsey County Arts In. So then he said there's dancing and singing, but I was a little bit of a selective listener, so I only heard the dancing part. And then I talked to one of the coordinators named Julie, and she told me more information. I thought it was interesting, so I joined it. And then after a while of doing it, I realized that I couldn't sing. So
But that's what it's all about too, right? Is figuring out your strengths.
yeah, so I found out my strength is dancing and a weakness is singing. So then I went to another program with Jaleel called Teen Power down on the west side of St. Paul. And over there we do like musical things. So there's singing, dancing, rapping, poetry. Some people do like drawing out things, and yeah.
It sounds like you've had a good time in your first year, right? So what do you want to do next in 4-H?
Next year, I want to become an ambassador. It sounds pretty interesting because I talked to some of my friends about it, and they said it's a fun experience, and yeah.
It sounds like Chris is interested in jumping headlong into 4-H, and that's a good sign. Youth in 4-H are 2 times more likely to make healthy choices, 2 times more likely to be civically active, and 4 times more likely to contribute to their communities. Mark Jagger went through 4-H, and he's a shining example of the civic spirit 4-H instills in its members. He hosts workshops for youth about goats, rabbits, and poultry. He leases goats from his herd for youth to use in project animals, and he runs the Dairy Goat Show at the State Fair, all as a volunteer. So how many kids do you feel because you've been doing this for 20 years?
At least.
At least. How many, just ballpark it, how many kids do you think that you've impacted?
Oh my. It's got to be over in hundreds, because I've done workshops in other counties plus my own. I've got 2 kids that live by Gibbon that own a dairy goat herd now because I got them started as 4-H'ers, and now past 4-H, they're milking goats.
So when you see a young boy or girl, little timid, little shy, maybe not so confident, what do you tell that kid?
Well, that's what I saw in Stacy and Casey, the 2 kids that I helped start dairy goat herds. That they just didn't know what they wanted to do, but they've really been super. Watching them go back and come and help me do workshops and present and talk about their goats has made a marvelous difference for them. It's really helped them grow immensely.
So you're a volunteer leader.
Yes.
You're doing this all on your own time.
Yep.
What has it done for you?
it's just given me a whole lot of fun. I truly enjoy working with youth. I was so scared when I was in 4-H, you couldn't make me speak. Now I go judging 14 fairs a year,
Wow.
working with the kids down here. It's just been a part of my life now. What I learned through 4-H.
Once in 4-H, there's lots of ways to benefit. The 4-H ambassador programs, available at the local and state level, are an opportunity for 4-Hers to take the next step in learning how to become a leader and a good citizen. Sadie is a new 4-H ambassador this year. I asked her to tell us a little bit about what she does. And so you've been an ambassador now just for a couple of months, right?
Yep, we found out on June 17th, and then we had our orientation at the end of July. So this is my first big event that I'm doing.
So throughout the year, what kinds of things do you get to do?
So we do the state fair, we work Clover Mart, we greet people at the door, and then we also plan Blue and Yellow, which are leadership retreats. We get to facilitate and teach kids a bunch of leadership stuff, and then we also plan them. So we also organize the service projects and just the dates and everything.
With all the planning that you get to do and all the organizing, what role do you have in all of that?
I'm on the education committee, so I'll get to help plan the curriculum for the leadership retreats, and then I'll help teach it.
So, do you enjoy that? Is it stressful for you? Do you like doing that?
Yeah, I really do. I love education, like leadership education. That's the reason why I'm in 4-H.
Dan is another ambassador, a 4-Her for 13 years and a member of the leadership team, which helps guide the state ambassadors throughout the year. But that's not all he does. You're telling me that you're part of the service project group?
Yeah, so I am one of the chairs of a committee. I am part of the service project committee. And basically what we do is we help out with any type of service that is done in 4-H throughout the entire year. Just thinking of new projects and then putting those plans into action.
So I'm sure that you guys do a ton of service projects throughout the year because 4-H is all about giving back. But tell me maybe your favorite service project that you do.
I'd say that one of my favorite service projects was the one that we did this last year. We teamed up with Soul Hope and we actually made shoes for people in third world countries.
With all that you've done with your ambassador experience, what has it taught you? How is it going to make you a better person?
I would have to say the main thing is really getting along and working with people that you probably would have never had the opportunity to work with other than being in this program. And also very many people from different parts of the state with very many different viewpoints, but we can all come together and really work together to create something spectacular.
The ambassador programs are a great way to give youth practical experience in being a good citizen, planning events, and leading others. But those experiences are available at all levels of 4-H, right down to the 4-H Club, where youth are elected by their peers to be officers that run meetings and help plan activities. Cooper is an officer in his club and county, and he is always on the lookout for opportunities to improve his leadership skills. I understand that you went to Citizenship Washington Focus, and I did so too when I was your age. Can you tell everyone what Citizenship Washington Focus is?
Citizenship Washington Focus is basically a conference at the 4-H Conference Center in Washington, D.C. And so students from all around the country go, and it's basically you can meet up with, other people who, have different points of view on things, and you learn about citizenship and leadership and all these other things. And you can see Washington, D.C. too, so there's a lot of cool things that you can do.
Tell me about some of the things that you've done in your own community to help your 4-H club advance.
So we've taken this project and going to CWF, and we're going to present it to the extension committee and board and federation in our club. And also I've done community service projects, led them before. We come up to Feed My Starving Children in the cities to volunteer packing food for those who need it. So and I hope to do a lot more leadership as I go through high school.
So, as a leader, as a young leader, what have you learned as some lessons in how to motivate people? Motivating especially kids can be tough. How have you been able to be successful in doing that?
You want to make what you're doing appeal to lots of different people, not just make it oriented at one specific group of people. You want to make it so everyone can feel welcome in what they're doing and be able to lead so everyone feels like they can do something.
What's the most important thing that your experiences in 4-H and your citizenship experiences have given you, skill-wise?
To be a good leader, you have to be determined and want to do what you do. And as long as you have, the drive to do something, you can do just about anything.
Speaking of good leaders, 4-H has many of those in its staff and volunteers, including Dorothy Freeman, Director of Minnesota 4-H.
We often think about every young person who's involved in the 4-H program as an independent person, which means then that each and every child should have his or her goals. And as staff and as volunteers who work this program, we work with young people to achieve their goals. And so 4-H is kind of based on helping young people learn independence.
And one other aspect of 4-H that not a lot of people focus on, I have seen at this, in my last years, in my experiences, so many adult leaders that have grown from this program. Can you talk about that?
People do think that 4-H is just about young people, but we also have a responsibility to make sure that the adults are tooled to be highly effective with young people. And what adults find then is that they learn these youth development processes and skills, and they take them back to their own communities. We could not do this program without them. There are 10,000 volunteers out across the state who are given to young people who may or may not be their own child, but have been mentors to other people's children. That's the gift of 4-H, is that we know that one caring adult has a significant impact on the lives of young people. So we never want to take that for granted. We don't want them to do it poorly. We want them to do it with excellence, because that may be their only opportunity to influence a negative or positive trajectory of a child.
Service and community involvement is such an important aspect of 4-H, and as we've seen from several of the 4-Hers we've already talked to, you can start from any age. Another example to look up to is Emma, here with her therapy dog Bailey.
We go visit kids at the Ronald McDonald House in Rochester, Minnesota, and we also do some hospice work, which is end-of-life care.
Okay.
So we go visit the elderly also.
Wow, so Bailey, service dogs and therapy dogs are very different. How are they different?
Service dogs are for working and help you see and help you work. Therapy dogs are emotional support, and you can touch them and love them, versus service dogs, you can't touch them.
Right. And so Bailey also does dog agility. Yes, yes. So does dog agility, and then also, so that's in 4-H, but can you tell me a little bit more about her certification that she needs?
So she's a therapy dog, and you have to go get certified through that, and there's classes all around the state that you can go and take, and you have to train her. And I've been training Bailey for 6 years. So.
Wow. You must have seen a lot of things in those 6 years, right? And so when you take Bailey out, and by the way, you're only 15, so you can't even drive her to all of these things. It's amazing to me that you care so much to put so much effort into helping people, both young and old. Can you tell me, of all those times, is there anything specific, a specific story that stands out for you that was just really cool to see?
Really, anytime we go to the Ronald McDonald House, it's cool when a kid's coming in the door from a long, hard day at the clinic. They maybe didn't get good news. They come in and they see a dog and they just smile. And that smile just makes my day.
What do you hope to do going forward you've got a lot of years left in 4-H. What do you want to do next with Bailey?
I just want to continue with hospice and elementary school kids and Ronald McDonald House, and maybe go into libraries also.
We've seen many of the different ways that kids can get involved in 4-H. Of course, the traditional livestock projects are still an important part of 4-H. Many 4-Hers spend a lot of time raising and taking care of animals and bringing them to the fair to show. Branston and his heifer, Jenna, are just one of those 4-Hers.
I started showing beef cattle when I was about 8 years old, so it was my second year of Clover Buds, and so I did 2 years of Clover Buds, and then I've done it beginner, intermediate, and now I'm a senior. It's my second or third year of being a senior, so I've been doing it a very long time, and I enjoy it very much.
And so with your animal that you have here today, how many do you have in your herd?
At home, we have just a hobby farm, so we only have 14 head of cattle at home.
Okay, so being that you're on a hobby farm, how did you get involved in the beef project?
Well, so I was in 4-H, and I had started poultry, but when I went to county fairs, I wanted to try something new. And so I liked the beef cattle, and I was like, Mom and Dad, can I try showing a beef cow? So then we got a little steer my first year, and I showed them, and just took off from there.
And so, as I understand it, you are the recipient of a Mybeck calf. If you could tell us a little bit more about what that's all about?
Yeah, so I was a recipient in 2015. It was my third year of applying. It's a very rigorous process. You have to have 2 letters of recommendation, and as well as you write out an essay explaining why you need this heifer. And so I was a recipient of the Limousine breed of cattle, the heifer I got from Moser Family Farms. And they were very nice donors, and so what we had to do when we won the animal is we had to take him back home, make sure she was bred by the next year, and we had to send them quarterly newsletters about how we were doing and stuff like that. So
Jenna here, I think she wants to get back to her stall. But what have you learned from all of your experiences? What's been most important to you and what you've learned in this project?
Well, definitely have fun. I mean, can't have too much fun, and it's always enjoyable to see how hard when you work with something really hard and then it pays off well in the end. So another thing I enjoy is the leadership aspect of it. I mean, working with the cattle has shown me how to be a leader and how to take care of them properly, which I love doing. I love when people come to State Fair and they maybe don't have a clue of what to do or like why we have something that we do, and I just love talking to the consumers about what we do.
Like Branston said, many 4-Hers love talking about what they do and sharing their knowledge with others. It's a crucial part of how 4-H works. That's why you'll find all sorts of opportunities for demonstrations, public speaking, and other presentations in 4-H. Another important aspect of 4-H is teaching young people the ways that they can live better, healthier, and happier lives. Part of that is cooking more nutritious meals, and 4-H offers several opportunities for kids to learn those skills, including the Chef for a Day event at the State Fair. I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about yourself if you give us your name, and tell us what you made today.
My name's Kendra, and we made a pork kebab with red peppers and green onions.
Okay, so I have to ask, why pork? So you can really pretty much pick any meat you want, right? So why did you go with pork?
We wanted to do pork because we thought the other team would do chicken, and chicken's a lot easier. Kind of knew how to do it, so we wanted to kind of step out of our comfort zone a little bit.
So when you go to judging, it's based on taste, and it sounds like you're trying to get a little bit of a difficulty increase, right, in the score? That's smart. So is this one of your recipes, or did you just come up with this?
We kind of just came up with it on the spot. So.
Okay, so you guys also had, I saw upstairs, you had a teaching session from an actual chef, right? So what did you learn in that teaching session?
We learned specific cuts and like ways to prepare your food, like your vegetables, and how to do it a little bit faster so you have more time to cook your meat.
What 4-Hers like Emma and Rachel are learning will stick with them for the rest of their lives. 4-H teaches lifelong skills, and I know that for a fact because I reap the benefits from my time in 4-H every single day. But don't take my word for it. I talked to an old friend of mine, David Horsager, to see what he thinks about his time in 4-H. David and I were state ambassadors together 25 years ago this summer.
Yep.
So it's been really, really fun to catch up with you a little bit. And I think we both grew a lot in 4-H. We built skill sets, sort of shaped who we are. So being that I haven't talked to you in 40 or 25 years, can you tell me the skill sets that 4-H gave you and now how you created the success that you have today?
I attribute a ton of the success, if I have any, to 4-H. I mean, I gave my first 4-H speech, I think it was 7 or 8 years old, and my kids are here at the State Fair right now showing, and they're 4th generation 4-Hers. Their great-grandpa showed in the 1920s. But For me today in my business, the business I started in 1999, a lot of my time is speaking at about 100 conferences a year, inspiring a shift of thinking around trust that leads to our deeper work that helps build trust in leaders and organizations. When I think of, a lot of what I learned at 4-H, it's the leadership skills and the cooperation skills and the team building skills. And for me, I actually never even showed an animal at the fair like my parents, grandparents, and my kids. I was into the youth leadership work and some of the ambassador and some of those kind of things, and that's really changed me and developed me and gave us space for me to, outside of school where certain kind of competition and everything, there was this help each other. And I noticed it yesterday when my daughter's showing a lamb. It's like in a school kind of competition, you might have, I'm not going to tell them. I see something they could do. I'm not going to tell them because I want to beat them. Here it's like, oh, here's my comb for the sheep so you can do your best too. And it's this feel of help each other, grow each other. I'm so grateful to 4-H for the opportunities, for the legacy. And I can't say enough about the 4-H program and what it's meant to me.
We've seen and met a lot of talented young people today, and I believe all of them will go on to do great things in their communities and families. We also saw the benefits that 4-H has for adults, not just in the skills they learned helping them in careers and community service, but also giving them an opportunity to be part of developing the next generation of leaders. "4-H empowers young people to be true leaders. And what are true leaders? True leaders are people with confidence. They know how to work well with others, can endure through challenges, and will stick with a job until it gets done. In 4-H, we believe that true leaders aren't born, they're grown."
It's been a long day, but it was worth it. I love 4-H, and I hope you do too, after seeing how it helps encourage and develop young people's talents, teaching them responsibility, independence, confidence, teamwork, and so many other important values. Who are you?
We are true leaders!
Woo!
Visit pioneer.org/4H to learn more about this show and watch it online. You can learn more about Minnesota 4-H by going to their website or by visiting your local University of Minnesota Extension and Outreach Center.
Minnesota 4-H, growing true leaders, is made possible by Minnesota Farmers Union, standing for agriculture, fighting for farmers. On the web at mfu.org. Minnesota Corn Growers Association, since 1978, dedicated to identifying and promoting opportunities for Minnesota corn farmers while enhancing quality of life. For nearly 100 years, Minnesota Farm Bureau has been working to preserve, promote, and strengthen American agriculture and share in the vision of strength and vitality for our communities.
Excuse me, do you have anything to add?